There are people in your life who already decided they don't like you. Before you said a word. Before they knew your name. Before you had any chance to show them who you actually are. And the worst part? You have no idea who they are. But here's the thing: once you understand why that happens, and how the brain works in those first few seconds, you stop being at the mercy of it. You start using it. There was a study on job interviews. 2 candidates. Same qualifications. Same resume. Same answers. The taller candidate got the offer more often, more money, more callbacks. Not because of anything they said or did. Because of a glitch in the interviewer's brain, one that fired before the interview even started. That glitch has a name. And once you understand it, you'll never walk into a room the same way again. Let's get into it. I'm Sarah. This channel is about understanding people, including yourself. Today, first impressions and the halo effect. What it is. Why your brain does it. And how to use it honestly. Let's go. Why this happened to me. Before I get into the science, I want to tell you something that actually happened to me. A few years ago, I was trying to break into content creation. I had skills. I had experience. I had prepared. I walked into a meeting with someone who could open every door I needed, and I knew it. Within about 30 seconds, I could feel it. The energy shifted. The eye contact shortened. The questions got polite but hollow. I didn't get a second meeting. What I didn't know then, and what I've spent a lot of time understanding since, is that I had lost that room in the first 20 seconds. Not because of my answers. Not because of my work. Because of signals I didn't know I was sending. My posture. My pace. The way I walked and rushed, slightly nervous, not quite present. Their brains had already filed me. That's why I started digging into this. Not because it's interesting. Because it happened to me and I needed to understand why. What's actually happening in your brain? So what actually happened in that room? Here's what the science says, and when I learned this, everything clicked. Princeton researchers ran an experiment. They showed people a stranger's face for 1/10 of a second. Faster than a blink. Then they asked, is this person trustworthy? Competent? Likeable? And people answered. With confidence. A complete opinion of a human being formed in a fraction of a second from a single photo. Here's the thing: their brains weren't being sloppy. They were being efficient. Your brain is a prediction machine. In a world where your ancestors needed to know instantly friend or threat, that split-second read was how you stayed alive. That wiring hasn't changed. It's just firing in conference rooms and first dates now instead of forests. And the name for what it produces? The halo effect. What the halo effect actually is. In 1920, psychologist Edward Thorndike was studying how military officers rated their soldiers. He noticed something strange. Officers who found a soldier physically impressive, they also rated that same soldier higher in intelligence, leadership, and character. No test. No evidence. Just a feeling spreading outward from one single trait. Like a halo. The halo effect is this: when your brain detects one positive quality in a person, it automatically fills in the rest as positive too. And it works in reverse, what Thorndike called the horn effect. One negative signal, a typo in your email, showing up 2 minutes late, a slightly defensive tone, and the brain starts pulling everything else into question. Here's the version that really hit me when I first understood it. You know that feeling when you meet someone new and something just feels off about them, but you can't explain why? That's the horn effect firing. And somewhere, at some point in your life, you were that person to someone else. Through no real fault of your own. They just caught you at a bad moment. A nervous moment. A distracted moment. And they filed you before you ever had a chance. That's not fair. But it is the truth. And knowing it is how you start doing something about it. The 3 ways it shows up. 3 real stories. 1. The physical halo. There's someone I know, I'll call her Sylvia. She'd kill me if I used her real name. She was going for her dream job. Nervous. She wore her safe outfit, comfortable, nothing special. She told herself, they're going to judge me on my skills, not my appearance. She didn't get a call back. 3 months later, different company, same role. She wore a sharp blazer, walked in tall, made real eye contact the moment she entered the room. Offer that week. Same resume. Same preparation. Same answers. Different halo. The research backs this. Physical presence is one of the most powerful halo effect triggers there is. Not beauty. Not perfection. Posture. Eye contact. A genuine smile. Intentional clothing. Those 4 things signal confidence and competence before your mouth opens. 2. The voice halo. Picture a boardroom. 2 people presenting the exact same proposal. One speaks like they have all the time in the world. The other speaks like they're afraid the room will leave before they finish. Same information. Completely different person in the listener's mind. There's a study that proved exactly this. Researchers had actors deliver the identical script twice, once with a calm, grounded delivery, once fast and uncertain. Listeners rated the calm speaker as more intelligent, more trustworthy, and more qualified. Same words. Different halo. Because your voice carries signals your content doesn't. When you slow down, especially in the moments you feel most nervous, the brain of the person listening receives a message: this person is in control. This person is safe to trust. When you rush, even if everything you're saying is right, that same brain quietly starts doubting. You don't need a perfect voice. You need a present one. 3. The digital halo. Picture this. You just had a great first phone call with someone, a potential employer, a collaborator, a client. Real chemistry. Real energy. They hang up. They Google your name. They find a LinkedIn photo that's 3 years old and slightly blurry. A bio that says almost nothing. No recent activity. The halo you just built on that call starts to flicker. Not because you did anything wrong, but because what they found didn't match the person they thought they were talking to. In today's world, your digital presence is often the real first impression, the one that happens before you ever speak. A clean headshot. A clear bio. 1 or 2 posts that show you're a thinking, real person. That's just showing up on purpose. And if you have nothing? A completely blank profile? That's not neutral. Brains fill blank spaces with doubt. Give them something real to build a halo on. I told you at the start about that room I lost. For a long time, I replayed it as a story about unfairness. They judged me before they knew me. That wasn't right. And honestly, it wasn't. But here's what I eventually understood. Unfair doesn't mean unchangeable. The halo effect fires whether you understand it or not. The horn effect fires whether you're ready or not. People's brains are making snap calls about you every single day in rooms you don't even know you're being read in. The difference now is you know. And knowing changes everything. You don't have to become a different person. You just have to be intentional. Walk in present. Stand tall. Speak at the pace of someone who isn't afraid of the silence. Show up with care in rooms and online. That's it. That's the halo. And here's the line I want you to carry out of this video today. First impressions open the door. But who you actually are keeps it open. The halo effect is powerful. But it's not the whole story. It's just chapter 1. You get to write the rest. You now know what most people in your life don't. Use it honestly. That's the only halo worth having. If something in this video shifted how you see things, this channel is built for exactly that. Subscribe because next week we're going deep on what happens after the first impression. How trust actually builds. What keeps someone interested once the halo fades? What makes a connection last? It builds directly on everything we just covered, and honestly, it's even more useful in day-to-day life. If this gave you something a like, takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this reach people who need to hear it. And if you know someone who's been quietly struggling in social situations, job interviews, first dates, share this with them. They might not know they need it. But they do. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself.